promised land. Let us remember how freedom is won, so our children will understand. Once we were slaves in Egypt, our people and our land were apart. But when Moses stood before that troubled sea, he could make those waters part. Given white men's names, they scattered our families, they shattered our lives, while they kept us bound in chains. Then we marched strong in Selma, we looked the racists right in the heart. And when Martin stood before that troubled sea, he could make those waters part.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good to see all of you. Many of us have seen each other in various settings. Today, my family let me come upstairs, so I have a new backdrop. I'm just going to jump right into this. One thing I want everyone to know is that I am recording this. So if for whatever reason you don't want your face seen in a recording, you can just not show your face, but you all look marvelous, and so no worries there. And I will be mostly showing my screen, so it won't be your faces for most of this. So I am going to go ahead. Actually, one thing, if you happen to have a piece of paper and a pen nearby, that would be great. And if not, you can grab one. And if not, it's not a big deal. I just want to demonstrate one thing. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen once again. Let's see. I hope you were enjoying the music that Rachel put together for our Spotify. That'll be on tomorrow's email to everybody. Let's see, we'll start from the very beginning. So this is preparing to lead a 40-minute Zoom Seder. This is our agenda. We are going to do a quick introduction. I want to give you permission, and this, I'll go ahead and just say this, to do whatever is necessary this Passover. Whatever you need to make it happen, even if it's not, it won't be perfect, of course, but it can be half perfect, it can be quarter perfect, whatever it needs to be. The irony is that what you're going to see over this next slide shows how much work there is to do something even not perfect for Zoom. So please feel free to share any of your feelings about anything I'm saying later. We're going to use the chat right now during this presentation. I'm going to run through these slides and then I'll open it up for conversation. So if you have questions during this, feel free to just do that by chat. We're going to go over what platforms that are possible. It's not just Zoom. And this is not a how to do Zoom. We do have a how to do Zoom on our website, mzion.org. If you click on that main page item, you'll get to a place where you'll see a video that Jacob did for us. I want to have some basic questions for you to think about as you think about what kind of Seder you want it to be, thinking about what kind of Haggadah you want to use, thinking in advance how you're going to set things up on a technical level, some goals potentially that you might want to think about and guidelines for your Seder that you might want to consider, some specific Zoom tips, and then substitutions for your Seder plates. And then I have some resources, some discussion questions that you can use, some fun songs and Mount Sinai resources that we're going to be looking at. Give me 1 second, I'm just checking on the chat. And thank you for asking about saving slides. I will be making these slides available to everybody. So they'll be in the email we'll send tomorrow, but just send me an email, aspilker@mzion.org even tonight, and I'll send you a copy of them, okay? So, because they'll have the different links that you might want. So, introduction, what is your favorite part of the Seder? This is for everyone to answer by writing on a piece of paper, and go ahead and write in nice big letters, if you could, on a piece of paper, your favorite part of the Seder. And I'll show everyone's faces once again. Once you have it, hold it up to the camera. Let's see if I'm getting it. Ta-da. And then actually, someone tell me, is mine backwards? It's right. Okay, because I clicked in the settings that says mirror image. So that's one thing to know, that if you are leading the Seder, you want people to do a mirror image if you're going to do anything like this. But you have to, everyone put it close up to the lens. So mine is Marge, Piercy, Magid, Cantor Strauss Klein's is just the entire Magid. Carla's all the songs, and Jen is dinner, of course. Let the festive meal begin. Dinner with good friends. I'm sorry. Thank you. The good friends piece I missed. So that's our introduction, Phil. Nicely done. I'm going to go back to our slide deck. I'm going to run through, as I said, some of these, but that's our quick intro. Platforms. So what platform are you going to use? I'm going to start with this resource from, that's where that link was, from Seder 2020. There are different options. Zoom, here are pros and cons. I obviously think there's a pro mostly, so that's why I'm choosing it. But you can also do Google Hangout if everybody has a Gmail account. You can also do FaceTime if people have Apple products. You can do yachad.net. You can do WebEx. Again, this resource is in the slide deck, so you can look at that later. My suggestion is Zoom. Basic questions. Once you choose your platform, you need to spend a few moments, meaning more than a few moments, a while, to get comfortable using that platform. Learning how to use the screen share function so that everyone can see the Haggadah if you're doing something online, how to mute people, et cetera, et cetera. Question, will there be one person or household on the Zoom and then the rest in the room? Meaning, in my family, there are going to be 5 of us sitting around a table. We're going to be doing our Seder, but we're going to have a computer at the end and inviting a couple people to join us, but they're joining our Seder. There needs to be clarity if that is the case. Another question is, are the people who are joining the Seder going to have their own Seder plate and all of the fixings? Ideally, yes, but that's a question you might want to answer for yourself as well. You need to make sure there is a master facilitator who can laugh and keep things going, ha, 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 when things will invariably go wrong. Here's the question of Haggadah. Are you going to share your screen like this so that everyone is looking on a screen at a Haggadah? That means if you're having a Seder where people are around your table, is everyone going to be looking at their individual device? Or are you going to have people print something out? Or are you going to have actual books? And people can use similar books, same books, I mean, different books, you can choose. If you are going to use an online resource, the Reform Movement has a great flip book. I'm going to show that to you. Hayas is an amazing brief Seder Haggadah that is about refugee justice, beautiful language and questions and interactions in that. Lab Shul, an emergent synagogue in New York, has reimagined the Haggadah. They have just 4 questions, 4 sections, each surrounding food, some kind of ritual, and a discussion question. A completely different way of thinking about it, which this year might be a good way to do it because it's a little briefer as well. And many, many other options. Seder 2020 again has some options for more depth, Haggadahs Are Us, Noam Sion, who joined Mount Zion a number of years ago and taught here. That's his resources. Or you can build your own at haggadot.com. So once again, let me share. This is the Reform Movement Haggadah.
Hey, Rabbi, sorry.
Yes.
We are not seeing your slides. Is anyone seeing slides?
No.
Oh, the screen isn't being shared.
Lovely.
So
Thank
maybe
you for letting me know.
I got a one.
Now we have nothing.
Do you see my screen now?
Yes.
Share the journey.
Yes.
Can you go back a few slides?
And if I, as I said, mistakes will be made. So I'm going to just quickly go back. I'll just show what the slides were here. This was these are the platforms, the link to the platforms. Here are the basic questions that I just mentioned to start with. And then here are the Haggadot options. And the question is, are you going to share the screen or print or have actual books? And if you're leading and you're not sharing your screen, have someone unmute themselves and tell you you are not sharing your screen. So these are the ones I just referenced, the Reform Flipbook, HIAS, LabShul, many other options. Now I'm going to go to those options and I will share, this was, by the way, the Seder 2020 website that talks about the different options. So the Zoom option, the Google Meet, FaceTime, Yachad, WebEx. And that's where I was saying, I am doing the Zoom option. Here is our Reform Movement CCR Press Haggadah that they've made available to us for free, a flipbook. A flipbook means that it is here, and if you just click on it, it literally flips from page to page, and then everyone can see it. I just want everyone to know that at the bottom, this is where you can make it full screen. This is where you can, if you know what page number you're going to, you can put the page number. Here's where you can do a table of contents. You can see that, and I say I want to go straight to Kadesh, the first cup. You click on that, and then everyone can be saying the blessing together. We'll go over tips there. This is where you can share the link. If you want to, at the bottom right here, you can share it with people so that they can be seated on their own device without you toggling it for them. And then if you want to get in even closer, zoom in, zoom out. So that's just a quick tutorial on using a flipbook. This is what I mentioned, Haggadahs Are Us, Noam Sion, and I see Stephanie Fink, who is representing the URJ, working on family education. She was the one who brought Noam Sion to Mount Zion over 10 years ago, I believe, when he did a teaching for us about things. And you can see there are free downloads that he's offering here. Really great resource for in-depth learning. So I'm gonna, actually, we're not there yet. I'm gonna go back to, actually I'll check the chat, 1 second. And Stephanie is offering some good advice there. If you have people print out copies, the simpler the better. So that is really important because of printer ink. And that is, thank you, Seth, for letting me know I'm not sharing. And the hacking piece on Zoom is something to be concerned about. One of the things you can do in your settings is to say that only you as the host can share your screen. So that's one thing that you can do. And you can have a waiting room if you wish, so that people come in to make sure that you're approving people to come into your Seder. It's unlikely that your private Seders will be hacked. I mean, it's more group kind of settings where that's been an issue, and there have been some security measures added as well. Excellent. So that's Haggadot's first question. How are you going to do this? Obviously the basics, whether you're having an in-person Seder or not, you have to invite folks, you have to pick a start time, sending an email with instructions and links, planning the time, at least in general form. Are you going to be doing all of the steps of the Seder together? Are you going to be joining just for a discussion? Are you going to do some kind of combination? For our family, we've decided just today that we are going to be inviting part of our family at the very beginning through Zoom to do a discussion, a go-around question. We're all going to participate. Then we're going to say goodbye to them. Then we have another friend coming in to do all the steps of the seder. And then we're going to join in a couple friends for another discussion a little bit later in the seder too. 40 minutes. Why did I say 40 minutes? Simply because that's the free amount on Zoom. So you can either do 40 minutes because it's enough already, or because that's what you have in the free, or you can pay $15 and then have unlimited time, or you can get around it and have two different times, 40 minutes, stop for dinner or stop for some discussion and then rejoin with another link. So it doesn't have to be limited to 40 minutes. And then of course, as with any seder, assigning roles or even a script so that people know when they're going, or give yourself a break, just call on people during the Haggadah seder. I'm gonna just check chat for one more time. These are other suggestions, as you can see in the chat, which is awesome. Here are some things that I've been thinking about. You can think about lighting. You might want to move a lamp. You can see I have blinded you now. I put this lamp here just to create better lighting in this space. Think about the position of the computer. Does it capture all of your table? Maybe you want to use Ethernet. I just ordered a 50-foot Ethernet cable so that I don't have to use Wi-Fi and rely on Wi-Fi. Arranging seats. Do you want to arrange it in a triclinium format? What is triclinium? The ancient Roman three-sided sitting around a mosaic so that everyone, that's how they sat around the mosaics in ancient Rome and ancient Israel. That way the computer is capturing the whole table. Maybe having a phone on a tripod to get the room shot for the Zoom audience. I suggest landscape this way instead of portrait. That way you're getting more of the people and not the ceiling and the blinding light above you. Maybe the computer by the leader and another one for the rest of the table to see. Another option. Think about, make sure you know who is working that screen on Zoom, who's changing the pages if you're doing the Haggadah. Is it the leader? Most likely, or not. Who's muting people? It can't be the one that everyone is looking at, of course, so you might want to have multiple devices. If you have multiple devices, only one can have sound on. Others need to have no sound. Please experiment, otherwise you can get very bad feedback. So setting all of that up in advance, checking the lighting, the angle, the sound. Goals. This is as if with any seder, but I'm just mentioning them. Even now, take a deep breath as you're going to be beginning this and saying the goal is to help everyone feel transported across time to Egypt. Everyone in his or her own way needs to internalize the story and connect it to today. Here is the wonderful out, or the wonderful permission. Biblically, all you need to do is to tell the story and eat matzah. Those are the only two mitzvot. Everything else is added by our rabbis, meaning tell the story, eat matzah, dayenu. Anything you add is wonderful. Ask questions more than provide answers. Don't have long readings. Address all kinds of learners. Honor different participating choices. Acknowledge that this is not normal. Everything is not okay. And then think about next year. You know, next year may it be a year of celebration. Here are some guidelines that I'm offering and suggesting. Make it stress-free as possible. I'll just share, having led several services, it's not stress-free. So stress-free as possible. Breathe, try to take as much time as you can to prepare. Read less, talk more, already said that, make it interactive, 60 minutes tops, 40 minutes is fine. Being online together is wonderful, but you'll probably want to limit the total time of your seder to work better, perhaps for this format. Make it spiritual, set the tone with a reading, a quote, your intention. Acknowledge that this will not be the same as being in person. Ask different people to lead. That's the idea of preparation and thinking about visiting some steps of the seder in advance or not. Be flexible, have fun. There will be mistakes, technical problems, purposely misspelled. Go with the flow. Zoom tips, mute, mute, mute. You can't read or sing together, I'm sorry. You might want to have a moment of cacophony. I'm finding it doesn't work so well. Maybe you like it, that's your style, but for the most part, people should mute. As many people now know, if you're holding the space bar, if you have a computer, that temporarily unmutes you while you're holding it. Try to minimize side conversations, paying attention to how people are in the different rooms. Use chat maybe. I'm finding it challenging right now. Stop share screen for any discussion. Please remember that if you're having a question, stop any Haggadah share in your screen so that people can see each other. In your settings, right next to where it has video, there's a little caret, click on that. And video settings, you can make sure it has mirror settings in case you're holding things up and want people to see. I will just pause there actually for a moment and invite anyone to add any comments they might have or questions. Pam.
I just have to give a little feedback. I am so excited by what you're saying and so inspired and feel so much more confident. Like this has only been 20 minutes and I'm so grateful. And I also am really glad you're recording because I want my kids who are going to share the seder to watch this tomorrow or someday before the seder, or I'll share with them the slides. So I just wanted to just give you that feedback of how excited I already am from what you shared.
I so appreciate that, Pam. Thank you so much. I watched several webinars of other people doing this to save you the time, I hope, of trying to get the best ideas. That was my plan, at least. Any other comments? Let me just check the chat. Anything else there?
I have an additional tip, if that's okay.
Please, Stephanie.
Some of you might want to take this opportunity to do things very differently than you've done it in the past and maybe share videos and things with sound coming through your computer if you're the leader. Just as a pointer, there is an option when you try to share your screen that before you select the icon of what thing you're sharing, down in the lower left corner, there's a checkbox where you can check share computer sound. And then you'll share not only your video, but also what's playing. So you could share a music video or, or something else in that way.
Such an important point. Thank you. Yeah. And then if you optimize it, which I didn't do in my first service, and the sound sounded awful. And then the second service, I learned how to optimize sound. So yes, that helps. And you can show family videos. You can, like think about all those different options that you can do. Cantor Spoker, you had something to share. Use your space bar.
I just was gonna say something that a friend of mine suggested that we're gonna do, and I ended up expanding it a little bit more, but since you can't be together in person, one way to share even more, if you're comfortable eating from other people's homes, is to exchange some food. So our friend is gonna bring us some macaroons and we're gonna bring her haroset. We've had a lot of seders together and I always make this one haroset and she wanted some. So we're gonna just do a little exchange of food.
We're gonna deliver it today so it can sit outside for 3 whole days. Just like the goat that was. By the way, the mirror option is on the very bottom of your screen where it has video, stop video or share video. There's a little caret, you click on that under video settings, then it says mirror my video. So there are lots of different options. So you click on mirror my video, that's where that is. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen once again. And here we are. So back to, those were the Zoom tips. Again, if you want more Zoom tips, there are plenty of other places to find other Zoom tips. So moving on, substitutions. If you are not going to the store or if someone in your seder is not going to the store, be creative with substitutions. Here's some ideas. Shank bone, substitute with a chicken bone or a beetroot. Everyone has a beet around apparently. Egg symbolizes birth spring, substitute with a spring flower, parsley, any other leafy green, maror, hot sauce, rosit, anything sweet that can stick together, etc. Think about options. Again, these are, the matzah is one of the key parts. And if anyone needs matzah, please be in touch with me. Here are just a few questions I've compiled, thought about myself, just came up with another one as I was going for a run earlier. Here are things that you might want to consider discussing. Tell a story of personal resilience. How did you overcome adversity in the past? How amazing would it be to hear from grandparents about that? On a card, write, what do you fear on one side? And on the opposite side, where is your hope? The what is purposeful, that there is fear now. Where is aspirational? Where can you find hope? I mean, this is our holiday of hope. How do you welcome the stranger when we are afraid of transmission of COVID-19? When we say, let all who are hungry come and eat, as we isolate, how can we care for people who are in need? I'm offering a suggestion that at Yachatz, when we say, let all who are hungry come and eat, that we have our computers already. Just go ahead on the mazon.org website and make a donation right then, or to another organization. Have everyone give tzedakah together right then. At the beginning or at the end, with Elijah's cup, have each person fill up a little bit from their own cup and respond, who is not here? What would they contribute to this night? What can we, now I can't see, whoops. Remember about and learn from them.
Oh, cool.
I am just checking, and wasabi from Aurora. All right, awesome. All right, so those are some questions. I'm sure you can come up with others, but I wanted to at least give you some to consider. If you have kids, or even if you don't have kids, here's a craft project to consider. This can be done at the seder during a more adult discussion or whenever in advance. Yad Chazakah means a strong hand. God redeemed the Israelites with a Yad Chazakah. Make a cutout of your own hand, or trace your own hand maybe. Cut out, trace, whichever you wish. Just you can decorate it and then discuss, what can my hand do? Besides hands right now being kind of scary because it needs to be washed all the time and it's a bearer of disease, in what ways are your hands strong? And then have people share their art or share their thoughts as they share it up to the camera, perhaps. So that's one other idea. Virtual afikomen. You can have a Where's Waldo on the screen and actually hide. I'll share where this is in a second. You can have a riddle. This is a riddle I'm going to share right now for everybody. This is thanks to David and Sarah Orbach, who did a teaching like this for Adath Yeshurun a few days ago. The afikomen is hidden virtually. This is clue number one. I'm going to give you 6 clues. Clue number one, see if you can get it. There is no proof the place where the afikomen is hidden actually existed, but its dimensions are clear. Where could it be? Clue number 2. The afikomen this year is hidden where it is found in the Torah, but it is also found in the Quran. Clue number 3. This place is connected, the place where it's found is connected to the University of Minnesota. Clue number 4. You might want to get help from a dove to find where it is hidden. See if anybody knows where it is yet. Clue number 5. There may have been up to 35,000 others, 35,000 people, creatures in this, where this afikomen is hidden, but no one came alone. You have to write this a little bit better than I did, apparently. Clue number 6, if you want to go to a replica of this place in the summer, you will have to travel 232 miles from St. Paul and pay $35. The answer is Noah's Ark. So the afikomen is hidden in Noah's Ark, collected to the University of Minnesota, gopher wood. Okay. So I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to go, actually, I'm not going to stop the share. I apologize. Continue the share, but I'm going to go to this one site that is mentioned there, which has this hunt right here, scavenger hunts, and you can go there yourself and find this own written out scavenger hunt. Here is the Where is Waldo afikomen? See if you can find the afikomen. I'd have to make this smaller. I don't see how in the world anyone can do this, but apparently someone with good eyes can find the afikomen there. Good luck. So that's where those two resources are. Back to the slides, and we're almost done, and then I'll open it up for any kind of questions, comments. This is just fun. I'm sure people have already seen this. The Torah speaks of 4 kinds of people who use Zoom: the wise, the wicked, the simple one, the one who does not know how to use mute. The wise person says, I'll handle the admin feature controls. And here's a question, how do you do this? And chat rooms, and forward the cloud recording transcript after the call. The wicked one says, since I've unlimited duration, I schedule the meeting for 6 hours. As it says in the Haggadah, whoever prolongs the telling of the story, Harei zeh meshubach, is praiseworthy. The simple one says, hello, am I on? I can hear you, but I can't see you. Jerusalem reads here, I can see you, but I can't hear you. The one who does not know how to mute says, how should I know where you put the keys? I'm stuck in this stupid Zoom call with these idiots. To the wise person, you should offer all the Zoom Pro optional things, oops, and add-on plans. To the wicked, you should say, had you been in charge, we would still be in Egypt. To the simple person, you should say, try the call-in number instead. To the one who does not know how to mute, you should say, why should this night be different from all other nights? More seriously, here's a new 4 questions from my colleague and friend, Rabbi Aaron Weiniger. Our hearts are broken. How will they reach neighbors while keeping 6 feet apart? Our skin is broken. Will our poor hands endure much washing at the seder, much more washing at the seder? Our matzah is broken. Must we go and hide and seek the afikomen alone? Our souls are broken. Do we have it in us to celebrate this season? These are all available to you afterwards. A fun, light song, Don't Come for the Seder, I Tell You Do Not. Ha ha ha, lots of fun. I'm not going to sing it. Lastly, Mount Zion's resources. Tomorrow, we will be sending an email to the congregation. It will have a recording of this session. It will have videos from clergy and staff that you could include in your Seder, and some of it to use in advance. It will have music Spotify lists that I was playing when we first started, and you can use that music to prepare as you're cooking or just hanging out in your home or during that night of the Seder. Cantor Strauss Klein has recorded all the music of the Seder. I'm going to show this in a second, with blessings and songs, plus a PDF of the text so you can practice in advance. Links to all these references here. We're going to have a video from Stephanie talking about the resources of the URJ. And in addition, the URJ is having an additional training by Zoom tomorrow at noon, and there at the bottom is the link. So let me share one last thing, and then again, I'll open it up. Here are, on the website, this is what it will look like, our page with each of the steps of the Seder, different songs of the Seder and prayers of the Seder. Forgive me, Jen, I'm just play this one. You just
Avadim hayinu hayinu ata b'nei chorin b'nei.
Play that literally in the moment when you're coming to it, so you can have your voices join hers. You can do it as you practice in advance. So lots of options there. And there's lots of great comments. Okay, grown, okay, fun. Just looking at the comments. Now, I am done. Any questions, thoughts, other ideas that anyone has that they would love to add? You can raise your hand through the Zoom app, or just raise your hand and wave and I'll call on you. Phil Goldman.
You had mentioned briefly when you shared a screen, making the image larger and smaller. I've had a lot of trouble when it pops up, it's too small to read.
Of what being too small, I'm sorry?
The shared screen, if there's a lot of information, sometimes it's too small for people to read when they look in the gallery view or whatever it is.
Absolutely, good. So there are, like on the flip book, there are ways to make it larger. I've been finding PowerPoint being very helpful, you know, just because then you can have just a few words per page and what is more easily readable. you can instruct people that they can minimize their ways to play around with all the pictures, and there are little boxes next on the top of them, and you can click on those to minimize. So that's one thing as well. Other thoughts? Patya.
Are you going to send out these slides? Will they be part of the email? Or you said the recording?
They will be.
Okay.
I didn't mention it, but yes, I will include these slides in the email.
Great. Beautifully done. Really beautifully done.
I had fun.
Good. I had fun too.
So this is good. And yeah, I'll leave it there. I had fun. Any other suggestions, comments? It's great to see so many of us. And I will just simply say, yeah, I will simply say, wishing everybody a Chag Sameach. Even this year, a Chag Sameach. It is our responsibility to try to find some joy. And it is not going to be easy this week. This is going to be a hard week for our world. And we're just listening to the same news this afternoon. And so in the midst of all of this, this is a holiday in which we have a lot of resources to talk about. How do we talk about freedom when we don't feel free? And we don't want to over push that metaphor because of course it's very different. But there is a lot of language metaphors that we can use to have thoughtful conversations this Seder, and I wish that all of you will. Lastly, let me just say that once again, anytime I'm having these conversations, we want to make sure that everyone is paired up. So if you don't have a place that you are connected to right now, please let me know, and I would love to find a match for you. Wishing everyone, let's see, I'm just look at the chats. Kino Schwartz-Klein mentioned about PJ Library and other kinds of resources there, and we'll make sure we put those in our email tomorrow as well. Have a lovely night, everyone. Good night. Chag Sameach.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.